Are you looking for a new whiskey adventure? Then climb in and buckle up. Get ready for one hell of a ride on the Whiskey Trip podcast with your host, Big Chief. Join in as he and his guests explore whiskey and dive into whiskey stories from around the world. Now here's your host, Big Chief.
Folks, you know, here on the Whiskey Trip, we celebrate more than just the pour in our glass. We celebrate heritage, tradition, and the stories that make this country what it is. That's why I'm proud to tell you about our friends at the Heritage Flag Company. These aren't just flags, they're handcrafted works of art built from whiskey and bourbon barrels that once held the spirit we all love. Every cut, every nail, every burn mark tells a story of patience and craftsmanship. Just like the whiskey we sip, these flags are bold, timeless, and full of character. Whether you hang one in your home bar, your man cave, or gift it to a veteran or first responder, a heritage flag isn't just decor. It's a statement. It says you believe in freedom, tradition, and the legacy we pass down. So saddle up, whiskey family, and head over to theheritageflag.com. Use code WhiskeyTrip10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Let them know Big Chief sent you. Because just like your favorite pour, the Heritage Flag Company is made to be shared, honored, and remembered. Now let's get on to the show.
Hey, it's old Big Chief with the Whiskey Trip, and baby, you're taking another ride with me. And I'm here in Houston, Texas today, and I got these two jokers right here. I got Dominic and Todd Grube with me. They are from the Houston Whiskey Social, and we're going to talk everything Houston Whiskey Social. You know how much I love like whiskey festivals, whiskey parties, bottle shares, and these two guys got it going on here in Houston. So if you're in the Houston area, we're going to show you what they have, and we actually have some dusties on the table that we're going to sip on today. Gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Trip, my friends.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So before we start talking about the Houston Whiskey Social, let's talk about what's in this first glass. What have we got in the first glass?
Sure. So this is our Elijah Craig barrel proof pick from this year, actually. So this is really first taste. Dominic hasn't even had it yet. So we picked this, back in April?
Yep, I haven't had it since we made the pick, so it just came in, and Todd's got it here for us to try.
And it's a 10-year-old, which they did special for us for the 10-year anniversary.
Wow, 10 years as a whiskey festival. You're moving the product when you're able to do 10 years of something. That's saying something. Well, happy anniversary. I can't wait to go to the festival this year, to the Whiskey Social. It's not really a festival. It's where gentlemen go and ladies go to drink whiskey.
Mostly.
Right? Mostly. You let some old cowboys in like myself, wearing a cowboy hat and Texas formal, as I like to call it. Well, cheers to you guys.
Yeah, cheers.
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 Yeah, I'm real happy with how that came out.
Yeah.
Everything I expect from Elijah Craig, right? I got that peanut brittle going on. Anything from Heaven Hill has that peanut brittle just bursting through it and stuff. I love it. The sweetness is here, but you also have that peppery spice.
Yeah, you get that
Cinnamon.
spicy for sure. Cinnamon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get a little caramel on the finish. Yeah, it's nice. I really like these at around 10 years.
I mean, it's very, very beautiful. So let's talk about the Houston Whiskey Social. How did it start 10 years ago?
So Chris Hart, who is no longer part of the Whiskey Social as of this year, but we're still working with Chris quite a bit. I work with Chris with the Houston Bourbon Society as well. And Chris started it, I believe the first year was a dinner. And it might have been, I think, 20 to 30 people. And they paired whiskey with the dinner, as you see events like that around town and around the city. And then each year it grew, and it just got larger and larger until, I want to say, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they moved it to the Citadel, and which is our current venue. Big wedding venue, looks like a castle. We really needed to expand because it's one of the only venues in Houston that's unlicensed that can fit, 1,500 people, which is what we need for our event.
Do you feel like it could go even bigger to, like, you got to go to a convention center, you have to go to a sports arena to fit you?
It could. I think there's some logistical constraints around scaling that big, but I think we're happy with where it's at from a size perspective, and until there's a bit of a critical mass of where we're at, but I think it could potentially go bigger, but then I think we struggle to maintain at least the as you said, a little bit nicer atmosphere, and it's where gentlemen go. And so at the end of the day, for us, we don't want it to be, it's not a big party. It's not a big, everybody get hammered or whatever, but come, have it be a classy event, taste all the things, figure out what you like, and try all the brands. And we have a dress code, so people at least will dress nicer and come out and have a good time. And you can have your, your wife, your significant other who will come and not feel like it's just at a bro party.
Yeah, we actually bring a fair amount of ladies to the party as well. I think we had 25-30% women, which is great to see. Like in the Houston Bourbon Society, we see it as well, where it's not just a man's thing anymore. There's tons of ladies out there drinking whiskey. But to get to your question, I don't think we want to get bigger. Like, I think we like our venue. Not that we wouldn't look elsewhere. We've looked around a little bit, but we like I say it's not that it's small. 1,200, 1,500 people isn't exactly a small event, but I think we've actually scaled back a little bit last couple of years because it just got so crowded, and our guests were starting to say, hey, the lines are too long. So we just want a little bit more of an intimate experience where you're not waiting all day to drink the whiskey that you want with your brand. And, I don't want to say upscale because certainly, there's a dress code, but it's more to kind of keep people away that are going to come and get too drunk and so on. I think we try to strike a good balance.
I think there always is a balance to that, but I love going there because I do get to put on a really nice cowboy hat. Mm-hmm. It's just that time of here in southeast Texas where you can put on a felt hat here and not sweat to death.
Yep.
But I also get to run into some amazing friends there. Jenny Hines, she's a supermodel out there. Yep. Me and her bumped into each other, and we know each other from Nashville. And it was nice to see her there. She runs up to me and gives me a big hug, and she's like, "Big Chief, I can't believe you're here." And
she gets around. I didn't realize that you. I had no idea you would know her also.
Yeah, it's just neat to meet people like that from around the country and bump into them at an event like that and stuff. And it was nice because then other people were like, "You must be somebody because she knows who you are." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm nobody. I'm just a guy that likes to drink whiskey." And listeners, I wanted to tell you, we are in downtown Houston at Houston's premier bourbon bar.
Yeah.
You look behind me, the owner here, Sean, graciously let us record here, film here. But this is Reserve 101 in downtown Houston. So if you're here for business, get yourself an Uber, get on a bus, get on the tram here, come over to Reserve 101. And, Todd, I heard that you come here regularly. As a matter of fact, we're sitting behind you and Dom's 2 seats here. Is there a plaque there for you on the bar?
It's funny you say that. I was just telling Sean about a bar back in New Jersey, in Delaware, where I'm from, that does that to the regulars. And I didn't talk about it for myself. I don't think I'm there yet, but but they do have 1,200 bottles of whiskey, 1,200 plus, I think, here. I think it's the largest or close to the largest in Texas.
Really?
Which is saying a lot because Texas is a big state.
It is a big state. And you can't see that tower on camera, but it goes up another probably 30 foot there. Yep. And just whiskey is piled around it. And I love that we're here filming in a whiskey bar. That's what the Whiskey Trip is all about, is to bring you new locations, to bring you events like the Houston Whiskey Social. So what's new for the 10th anniversary? Are you guys doing anything special?
Yeah, so we're still talking through some ideas that we will announce soon, but the one thing that we have announced is Dusty Cocktails, which is something we're actually partnering with Reserve 101 on. So Sean and I are still talking about it. We got some vintage Campari from the 70s. We're looking at some old rum. We might do an old daiquiri because it's the Whiskey Social, but we also bring in other spirits as well. And so we might do a paper plane or something like that. So we're going to be kind of just doing small samples of vintage cocktails to give people an idea of what does the cocktail taste like when the whiskey is old and when the liqueurs are older. So that should be a lot of fun.
So a new twist on that. And I love that you guys have cocktails there because some people do not like straight whiskey. They want a cocktail. The ladies, they want a cocktail sometimes. There's guys out there that they want a cocktail. Sure. So you think, hey, what can I do new? What can I do that's exciting to pique people's interest and keep them there and keep them coming? Cocktails would be a thing. We go to some whiskey festivals. There's no cocktail to drink at all. And, you're running around drinking high proof whiskey, and your
Yep.
palate can just get burnt out
Oh, yeah.
within a 4-hour
It's good to have
period.
a break.
And I think we try to also have other spirits there, right? So we'll have a vodka brand there. We'll have some other things there to mix
Beer.
in, and beer, and
Yep.
and shake it up so your palate gets a little bit of a break. We different than I think others because of the venue and what we're capable of doing. We've got a cigar lounge in the front, so people can come and hang out and drink whiskey and have a cigar and do that. Our retail partner is Specs, so they've got a couple surprises up their sleeve. We've talked about a couple of things that I'm not sure we've confirmed yet, but there may be some fun things that they're going to bring to the table and give the opportunity, I think, for people to donate to Specs charity, but also in doing so get a raffle for a chance at some pretty cool, fun tasting opportunities with Specs and some other things like that. So.
Well, for listeners that don't know what Specs is, and you're from out of town, Specs is the premier spirits and wine store in the state of Texas, and they originated right here in Houston, Texas. So that's beautiful that you guys are partnering with them, and they're going to do something special to celebrate your guys' 10 year. I can't just to be 10 years of doing something. That's to me spectacular, and that people are going to flood in here. There's still tickets available, though. VIP tickets are still available for people.
Yep.
So what's a VIP ticket get you, and what's that run?
VIP tickets will get you early entry an hour before our general admission tickets. And generally speaking, our vendors know that VIP hour is when, if they have allocated bottles, they'll be out there in the first hour, and usually probably be mostly gone before the general admission gets there. So it gets you access to some stuff. If they bring a couple of allocated bottles, those are your prime chance to taste. Those are probably going to be during the VIP hour. Those are running. Todd, what's the retail on that ticket?
I think it's $165 plus tax.
Our general admission get in 1 hour after that, and we actually still have a few of our ultra premium tickets. So we do a full Pappy Van Winkle lineup tasting and a full Buffalo Trace Antique Collection tasting an hour before the VIP. So you can buy those tickets and have a full tasting lineup of the entire Buffalo Trace Antique Collection and the entire Pappy lineup as well. So
That's pretty damn amazing.
Yeah.
If you can drink all those in one setting.
well, those are two separate ones, but those are run concurrently. But yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. You got to really pace yourself. When we're talking about pacing yourself, one of the things I like to tell people is hydrate.
Yep.
And that's something nice that you guys have tons and tons and tons of water just in barrels around the Houston Whiskey Social.
It's amazing how much water we go through.
It is wild.
Is it like 2,000 bottles or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's easily 200 cases at least. So, case of like 40. So, I don't know.
But we really
silly
hammer it
amount.
home because, with the crowd, with any drinking festival, you have to keep an eye on over-serving people. I mean, that's when it starts to get messy. So we really we send out reminders beforehand: drink water, eat before you come, Uber to the event, all
Hydrate.
those things. And yeah, we're pushing the water hard.
And we've coincidentally nailed down a still water sponsor and a sparkling water sponsor this year. So Saratoga Springs will be our still water sponsor, and then Rambler out of Austin is going to be our sparkling water sponsor for the year. So
I love it. So you got something for everybody right there. Is there a DD package if somebody who says, "Hey, I need a designated driver, somebody that doesn't drink alcohol"? Is there something for somebody like that?
we don't have one specifically, but I think it's just because we can't differentiate once somebody's in the door.
Yeah.
How they do that.
It's hard to police.
And we can't have. It's too difficult for I think our vendors to differentiate who not to pour to.
It's like when you go to an all-you-can-eat sushi bar.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got to order the all-you-can-eat.
Yeah.
That's right.
But we definitely do encourage we encourage everyone to ride share to and from and be safe.
Well, this is a city that has Ubers and stuff. And today, I'm always surprised that people don't utilize those and stuff. I always bring a designated driver with me if we're going to drive back home. But this year, we're going to actually stay over in Houston and
Nice.
Try to spend a whole night there and stuff. I can get a little worn out if people are coming up and talking to me. Or if you see me or if you see anybody else and you're not from the state of Texas or you're new here in Houston or the state of Texas and they're wearing a cowboy hat, don't try to take their cowboy hat off their head.
That's bad.
That's a bad thing. I know you're not from Texas.
But I wouldn't do that anyway.
You wouldn't do it anyway.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, I don't know who would walk up to me and try to take my cowboy hat, but people do. And, you know, it happens. And I'm not that old school guy who just punch you in the face. Maybe, but no, seriously, I just ask you to step away from me. But that's why I love this event right here is that you get to dress up. My wife gets to dress up and wear like almost an evening gown.
Yeah.
And she feels special. And you're going to the Citadel. It is, like you said, it looks like a castle.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful venue.
Yeah.
Just all white marble.
So
Very
what
nice.
are some of the big brands that are going to be here at the whiskey festival? What can whiskey enthusiasts, what can they expect?
Well, Heaven Hill's going to be a big one. We've been partnering with for several years. They're the ones that we do the barrel pick with, which was, you know, this Elijah Craig barrel that we picked. So they've always treated us well. Dom, who else is? I'm trying to think if there's anybody that's new that's coming. We have Michter's. Michter's is on the table. Beam will be there.
Yep. And I think a lot of those big ones will have multiple tables and multiple brands. So Luxco will be there with, they usually bring probably 4 or 5 every year. So that's everything from 13th Colony to Penelope to 10A number of things.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of those brands too, because we have a lot of space. We tell them, hey, get creative. And so at this point, I think there's still, some of them are still talking through what they're actually going to do. Last year, Beam did this big bar. I don't know if you saw it in the side room. So we like to do fun stuff like that. And to just, you know, more than just a standard vendor booth, which is what you see in the main room. So we have a large side room that we can do all kinds of kind of fun layouts.
If you're Scotch fans, Dalmore will be there. Yeah, we try to have a little bit of everything for everybody.
So we're like, I feel like Dom and I are just whiskey drinkers, and we're whiskey nerds, we're spirits nerds. So the room is going to be, again, it's certainly whiskey focused, of course, but we like to bring in other brands, even like cognacs and things like that. We brought in limoncello brands before because, again, we understand that the people that are coming aren't all there just for whiskey, and we're into kind of all different spirits. So we like to kind of mix it up, and that's how the Houston Bourbon Society is as well. Like I joke that it's the booze society because we like to drink, and we like to drink nice things across different spirits.
I mean, you had mentioned also. Sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
go
But
ahead.
you had mentioned, Leaper's Fork. You've done something with them before. They'll be there this year for the first time.
One of my sponsors, man.
There
My
you go.
buddy Lee Kennedy's actually going to be here.
All right, they'll be
Nice.
here. Hard Truth Whiskey from Tennessee will be there, and yeah, just a whole host of folks.
I love it. I love that you guys have that. Now, you do have a whole room always full of Texas whiskey folks up in there, and they get excited about coming down to Houston.
And we love them.
I feel like not every whiskey festival, besides the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, maybe Tennessee, but other states don't embrace, their festivals don't embrace their state's whiskey. But you guys, man, take it to a whole different level and might have the most brands besides another whiskey festival up in Austin dedicated to Texas whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and, we are huge fans of all of our local brands, and Iron Root will be there representing William Price locally here will be there, and any number of other Texas brands. And I think for us, if it would be a shame if we're here in Houston and didn't have local Texas whiskeys represented.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to, I keep tying in the Houston Bourbon Society, but we did a lot of single barrels for that group, and we just developed a close relationship with a lot of whiskey brands like Balcones and Iron Root and Andalusia, William Price, like Dominic said. And we actually do an Iron Root camp every year where we take a group of people out there and we spend the weekend doing a barrel pick and hanging out with them. So we love the Texas whiskey people, the Licorice family with Iron Root, like we love them. And we want to give them as much good publicity as we can because we want to see how Texas whiskey has continued to evolve. And it's actually to the point now, you mentioned the room. So we used to do all the Texas brands in the room, which was great because you would see 12, 15 brands all from Texas. But, Texas whiskey has come far enough that they don't want to be seen as Texas whiskey necessarily. They're just whiskey. So we've actually moved them into the main room, in with kind of the general population with the rest of the brands. So we still have the same focus on Texas whiskey. We've just kind of put everybody together because a lot of them have Texas whiskey and supporting it is certainly a thing, but they didn't want us to kind of separate them and say, hey, this is different. They just want to be seen as the same as everyone else, which is what they are. We know that there's different tastes, flavor profiles and things like that. But
everybody always says there's a Texas funk, and I think it's bullshit. There's certain brands that might have a funk in Texas, but there's other brands that don't have a Texas funk at all. Now, talking about a funk, the next sip we got here is some Old Grandad, a dusty pour. And I don't know if it has a funk on it or not, but it smells delicious.
Got a little bit.
Tell me something about this bottle right here.
So I think this is a early 90s Old Grandad Bottle and Bond. So I think just on the nose you can tell that it's an older whiskey.
Man, I say cheers to you guys.
Yeah.
I love you guys already for this. Not too many people get to experience Dusties. And if you want to experience a Dusty in here in Houston, I got to put a pitch out here again. Reserve 101 here, they have a list of Dusties that you want to try. Come in here, ask for that special list, tell them old Big Chief sent you, and get something like this Old Grandad right here. You'll blow your palate out of the water by tasting something like this. I like these. Sometimes they can be a little bit different. This one has a screw top on it,
which I love. I love that.
I always worry about that little white piece of, I don't know what it is, wax film up in there, and if it gets down into the bottle, or if it's been tipped on that, then it gives us like lemon pledge taste to it. But this doesn't. This is nice.
Yeah. See, this doesn't have the little white thing. This is just a cap.
Well, and I think for us, like, it's fun to taste the Dusties because in a lot of cases, like, this is distillers that don't exist anymore, right? And so it's a taste of
and
a little bit of
a wood vats, all the different things.
A little bit of a time capsule to something that a peek into a world that we can't ever get back to again. And I think for us, it's something that it's less of a surprise in our 10th year, but for sure Todd and I will walk around the room and we've got a table and there will be some dusty pours that come out periodically through the night that we bring out to give at least a little bit of a different vibe and a different thing for our patrons to come and try. That isn't just, we don't want it to be just all the vendors. We try to have a few surprises for everybody, and that's one thing we do for sure to try to set ourselves apart.
Do either one of you know who Old Grandad is?
Oh man,
I think I do,
used to know.
Now I don't remember.
Basil Hayden.
Yeah.
That's Basil Hayden on the label. And do you know where the Old Grandad distillery is? Either one of you? Because it still exists.
I don't.
No.
It's in Frankfort, Kentucky. It's not open to the public. I have been there before. A lot of people don't know that. It's right down the road from Buffalo Trace. A lot of people that doesn't. It's kind of you go to a dead end and it's a security gate there and stuff. But
we were just down there at Buffalo Trace.
I know. I was texting you and I was like, God dang, this guy.
I
was giving you restaurant advice.
Yeah.
We're texting back and forth.
So Old Grandad, actually, one of the other reasons I brought this is that it's sort of a inside thing at Reserve 101. So if you do a shot of Old Grandad when you get here, they'll know that you're a real whiskey person.
Well, I want to dive into both of your guys' past and ask you how did you get into whiskey? We'll start with you, Todd.
So I had moved here from, I went to school in Philadelphia. I grew up in New Jersey in that Philadelphia area. And I moved down here and I was into Scotch. So I work in a law firm is my kind of day-to-day job. And in law firms, they drink a lot of Scotch. So I kind of tried to get into Scotch, and I bought myself a couple bottles just to kind of get used to that. And I didn't like it, honestly, but I was kind of forcing myself to like it. And I was kind of just felt like I was pretending. And then I met someone here who was part of the Houston Bourbon Society, actually. And they said, hey, just follow me. Like, I'll show you the way. And then I met other people and kind of just got involved in the community. And that's the best thing. I mean, I think the fact that you and I met through the Bourbon Society and Dominic and I met through the Bourbon Society. I mean, social media brought us together, really. And I wanted to get involved with it. I saw that it was a great community and in Houston, and it's a really lively bourbon scene here, whiskey scene. And I just got more and more involved in the group, and then I started to help run the group. And Chris Hart, who we mentioned, started the Houston Whiskey Social. We became friends, and we just started doing more and more together. And then here we are now. Dominic and I running the Whiskey Social.
Dom, what about you?
Man, a bit of a long journey. I think similar to Todd. So my day-to-day job is in energy trading, and I was more focused on the client side, and I spent a lot of time on the road. I want to say probably 2011, 2012, you're sitting at a bar and you're on the road and tried some stuff, and then one of my colleagues was into it, and we would talk about it, and I was kind of like, this is cool, like it's our thing, and to talk about it, and just sit there and unwind at the end of a long day and have some of the old brown water and as they say, right, take the edge off, and so I kind of got into it, but then I was like, surely there are other people. How do I connect with other people? And then somehow stumbled upon, as Todd said, the Houston Bourbon side here in Houston. I was like, let me see what this thing is, and I kind of lurked around and read things and saw what people are posting. I'm like, man, there's some technical bits of it that are fascinating, and you kind of go down the rabbit hole, and all of a sudden you just fell down all the way and run into folks like y'all, and it's fascinating. We always joke, right? Like we have group chats and other things that have existed for 10 plus years at this point, but then I realized pretty quickly, like, man, I don't know how, but communing over whiskey and the people and the things that come along with it, with a hobby like this, that like-minded folks kind of get together and you bond over the whiskey, and you have shared experiences, and you break bread together, and you do this, and all of a sudden, you've got close family friends, and kids are hanging out, and people are hanging out whenever, and it's just in my mind, it's something that brings people together, and the shared experiences overpours in a moment, crystallizes that moment in a way that I don't know that other things do.
Yeah, it's a mingle of diversity in the whiskey community, and some of my rules are don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, the stuff that divides people. Whiskey brings people together from every walk of life across the face of the earth, and that's what I love about it. I love meeting guys like you and stuff. Well, we're up against the first half, gentlemen. On the second half, we're going to start. I got a question for you. And we'll get to that question, but don't be telling me no lies, because I'll know. I'll know. But listeners, before we go to the first half, I want to tell you I got something coming up on November 8th at the Rack House in the Colony. I'm going up to do a barrel pick with Iron Root,
awesome.
The licorice family.
Oh, they're awesome.
And this is going to support Staves of Honor. That's a veteran organization, a charity, and we're going to give back to some veterans with that barrel pick. But that event is going to be November 8th at the Rack House in the Colony. Look for more information on that. It's partnering with Poor Decisions Rick House, a Facebook group. So check both of those, the Staves of Honor and Poor Decisions Rick House out. Check out Iron Root and the Rack House at the Colony. You don't want to miss this pick. Iron Root, I think they only do like 12 picks a year.
Yep.
So a coveted pick, and that is picked by me, and I've got some heavy hitters on this pick with me. One of the jokers that's going with me is Emiliano from Steel Austin. He's one of the distillers there. You don't want to miss this pick, I'm telling you. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Leaper's Fork Distillery is an artisan distillery working to bring back the history and heritage of a small batch whiskey production to Williamson County. The distillery crafts premium spirits using local ingredients and limestone filtered water to create superior spirits with a signature taste. Yeah, I love their wheated bourbon. Leaper's Fork Distillery is characterized primarily as a low-volume, low-impact concept of production. They are excited and honored about bringing back a lost art and industry to a county that always puts its history and heritage at the forefront. Visit them today at leapersforkdistillery.com. All right, listeners, we're back for the second half, and I'm here with Dom and here with Todd from the Houston Whiskey Social. We're here in Reserve 101. We're drinking some whiskey, and we got another dusty pour right here, and I'm excited to drink this joker right here. What's this right here, Todd?
So I believe this is a 1988 Wild Turkey 8101, meaning 8 years old, 101 proof. So these were, seen as kind of bottom shelf bottles. I mean, they had an age statement, so maybe a step above the bottom shelf, but they were, $10 bottles back in the day. And people overlook brands like Wild Turkey and Jack Daniels and Maker's Mark because they think that it's, lower grade whiskey. But the reality is, these distillers have been around a long time. They put down a lot of whiskey every year. They know what they're doing, and even their kind of entry-level products are amazing. So it shows going back to the 80s and early 90s with Wild Turkey. It just has a different funk to it. You know, you're talking about funk. Wild Turkey is one of the brands that's known to have that funk, and it's kind of hard to describe until you smell it and taste it.
It's funny how people are all right with that kind of funk, but they're not all right with a Texas funk.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Well, cheers, gentlemen.
So we pour bottles like this at the Whiskey Social. We pick up, I don't know, a dozen or up to 20 bottles, and we'll just walk these around and pour them for guests for free, basically, including general admission tickets. We every hour we pull out a couple bottles and walk them around. We also have a table with dusties. So a lot of people don't realize that because we don't advertise it super heavy. But it is something that if you do come to the event, make sure that you look for me or Dom or anyone that has a Whiskey Social tag around their neck. We're going to be pouring these for free and just kind of making our way around the room.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to say, like, you know, if you guys are listening, you say, hey, we were listening to Big Chief and we're here, you find me or Todd, we will make sure to try to find you something a little fun.
Yep.
Well, this has a little bit of funk on it. And I haven't always been the biggest turkey fan. I respect it for what it is. And it's a good bourbon. But the Russell's now, that's a whole different ball of wax. I always say that's my Russell's 10 years, my wife's favorite. It's got this like cherry juice to it and stuff.
Yeah, cherry.
But these right here are special. I got a good friend, Clint, over in Port Arthur, Texas, Nederland, Texas, and he is the biggest turkey fan.
What's his last name?
Duggan.
Okay.
I know him.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I think we both know him.
Big. He's a big turkey fan, and
I wasn't either, honestly. I wasn't, and Dominic was, and I've been converted though. I get it now. You know, it almost does have. To me, there's almost like a subtle cherry in there too, but it has that turkey funk, which I don't know how to describe it, but it's that dusty flavor.
Well, and
whatever that is.
I have a personal reason for being a turkey fan, right? So when I was growing up, and it was, you know, sort of lowbrow, and my godfather always loved Wild Turkey, right? And so when everybody else would like, oh, have a nice glass of wine or things, we'd be at his house, and he'd give me the elbow and like, the word for godfather in Chinese is gandia, and he'd be like, hey, go get gandia drink. You know where to get it. And I was like 9, 10 years old, and I'd run up to his bar, put a little stool down, and go pull the Wild Turkey out of the cabinet, pour him a glass, and go take it to him. So for me, there's a very particular smell and flavor to it that, one, is nostalgic, but two, is just middle of the road what good bourbon is. And so for me, there's a nostalgic personal reason to it. But at the end of the day, this stuff is awesome to me. So
you know when I became a turkey fan was when I had Bruce, Eddie, and Jimmy sitting in my front room recording an episode. That's when I became a turkey. I was like, God dang.
We just saw Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff in their heads is wild. Like the stories and the tales and how do they do it. And, you know, it's awesome that Jimmy will sit there in the front room of Wild Turkey. If y'all go to the distillery, right, he's there almost every day, him and his wife, and he'll be happy to sit and talk to you about everything. So it's pretty awesome.
You could actually go into Lawrenceburg and probably bump into him in a restaurant there. And they said that, you know, he don't really like anything except for, you know, like rye whiskey. He just likes Wild Turkey 101. That's what he likes to drink, and he's been there forever. But speaking of that experience you had, Dom, that kind of ties me into my first question really for you guys. And we'll start with you since you brought that up.
Sure.
Pouring your godfather some old Wild Turkey. What was your first whiskey that you ever had?
I mean, it probably was a little snippet of that Wild Turkey when I was a kid of like, well, if he loves this, what is this? And you know, I maybe snuck a sip or two back in the day. Maybe I shouldn't have.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong. Hey, we're past that 7-year mark, right? Isn't
right.
that what lawyers would say? What about you, Todd?
It's funny. I had to think for a second, and then I'm pretty sure this is correct. So my mom was actually a whiskey drinker, and I think they called her whiskey. Her name was Joanne. They called her Whiskey Joe or something like that, which I was kind of like, that's crazy because she wasn't drinking it really when I was aware of drinking. My parents always had Seagram's VO, and so it was probably Canadian whiskey. And I actually, for my 40th birthday, I grabbed a birth year bottle of that old Seagram's, just to kind of see, like, let me see what this stuff actually that my parents were drinking. Like, I want to see what that tastes like when I'm 40. So I actually have a bottle from '79 at home of that bottle. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Old Seagram's is good.
And it wasn't even that expensive to get a bottle. Canadian whiskey back then, it doesn't go for the same prices as like this Wild Turkey.
Let me tell you something. I've been drinking whiskey for a long time, and my drink when I went to the bar back in the day when everybody else was, you see a guy walk up to the bar and he didn't know what to order. He'd be like, "I'll get a Jack and Coke," or "I'll get a White Russian," or something like that. I would be like, "I need a tall boy. I need a 7 and 7."
7 and 7.
Yeah, that was my
I drank that a
highball
lot.
all day
Yeah.
long, every day. If you got ginger ale, even better. Let's get this party started.
Yeah.
That was my drink.
And there's still no wrong way to drink whiskey. Jack and Coke is still a good drink to me.
And
Well-
I drink Makers and ginger all day long.
Yeah.
Now today, if I go into a highfalutin establishment and I'm going to have a cocktail, I like to drink a whiskey sour made with egg whites, and I love to have Maker's cask strength in it. That's my bar I've set for every bartender in America. If you can't make that, you probably shouldn't be making cocktails, in my opinion.
Well, you need to come back when the bar's open so you can try. They have a clarified New York sour, and it's one of the best cocktails in the city. And I don't think that there's egg white, but it's a great cocktail. So you definitely need to make sure you come back.
This is a hop, skip, and a jump for me. So what about food at the Whiskey Social? What kind of food are you guys going to have there this year?
That is a fun point of contention, I think, for our folks that show up. But we'll have food at the venue. It ranges everything from chicken
we do
fingers
pulled
to
pork
pulled pork
last year?
sliders and mac and cheese and that kind of stuff. So usually we serve it on the back patio, just to kind of spread folks around. But there will be plenty of food for the guests to have, and plenty of water. And then
We just want to fill people's stomachs because we want them to make sure that they have something hearty while they're drinking, So it's kind of meant as more snack food, but heavier snack foods.
So you guys still haven't locked down what you're going to serve this year?
it has not been locked down. No.
Did you know that Houston is home of the fajita?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Nymphas started the fajitas.
That's right.
Mama Nymphas.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I love ninfas, but a lot of restaurants make claims. I didn't know if their claim was legit
No,
or
theirs
not.
is legit.
Okay.
It's legit.
I love
mean,
ninfas.
I'd love to see a little baby fajita there.
We'll
I know
have to figure out
money-wise,
the issue
We
is
could probably
because
do that.
because it's a wedding venue, we have limitations on whether we can bring outside food in or not. So it depends on what they have available to us.
I feel like they
as
probably
they're the
do
caterer.
that. No promises, but I feel like a fajita is an easy thing to make. That's part of it
no
because of our volume.
sneaking in Big Chief's barbecue.
No, sadly, no. But and I will say this year there's a discussion because I think Specs wants to do a little bit more. They may be bringing in some of their packaged food things and some other things for y'all to have. We've had chocolatiers there before and some other
case
vendors.
chocolates.
Yep.
That was one of the most popular things, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, so they do some really cool. It's fascinating. I don't know if it's proprietary to them, but the case in which they've encased the liquor-filled chocolates is different and really cool, and do all that stuff.
I think I ran past her like 50 or 60 times. And you're going to see a bartender back behind us right there getting ready for his shift here at Reserve 101. I'm hoping the man can make me a whiskey sour with egg whites. Hopefully. We're going to find out. He's not even listening. He's
Well,
like,
he just won an Iron Bartender, which was last night or Thursday night.
Really?
Yeah, he won most creative cocktail in the city. So in the Iron Bartender, this is Mark Estel.
Mark Estel back there. He's the bartender for today, and he just won a big award. But maybe we can get him to make us a cocktail eventually here. He's setting up for today's service and stuff, so we'll leave him be. So what else can listeners expect there? Any new surprises? You got the water locked down. You got the event locked down. Anything special for the 10th anniversary?
We've been talking about bottles because, again, outside of the vendors that are there that everyone comes to see, we want to fill in the blanks. So we were having a conversation this morning about what current bottles, what are the hot brands right now that we can find something really cool to bring, because we just want people as they're walking around we want to surprise them. So, I mean, I would say at our event, it's going to be full of surprises, and I don't say that just to sell tickets. It's a reality. We pour all these cool bottles, and we just want to come out, and we come out with Pappy. We pour Pappy for free. Not everyone's going to get it, but we do make our way around.
I think maybe the hottest brand out there right now, to me, one of the hottest brands out there is Macaulay Minton with Dark Arts. He is, he's on the spotlight. I feel like he is. He's doing everything he needs to be doing and stuff out there. His finished expressions are just phenomenal. And Penelope is just rocking it out right now as well. I mean, there's several other brands. People are going to be like, why'd you pick those two? I just picked them because I see them doing things right in the industry. What brands do you think out there that are like right now in our whiskey scene? Because we're in a whiskey downturn. There's no doubt about that. But what brands out there are you seeing, Dom?
I mean, I think you named one of them. I mean, I think Dark Arts is one that I've started to see more of, and I've definitely seen some really creative finishes from them, and tasted some single barrel picks that people have done that have been just really unique.
I see a lot of the big brands in the slowdown. So there's a lot of inventory out there, and drinking slowing down a little bit. So there's less demand and more inventory. So I think that the fact that Wild Turkey came back out with an 8-year age statement, and then you mentioned, it might have been when we were taking a break, about the Wild Turkey, the Cheesy Gold Foil. They're doing a 14-year. So some of these big brands are coming out with age statements again, which is very exciting for a whiskey drinker, because you're guaranteeing that the whiskey you're drinking is at least that age, which is a really good thing for the drinkers. So I think, brands like Wild Turkey have been just killing it on their special editions. I mean, that's just one example, but to me, that's the exciting stuff that's coming out, because I love supporting new brands, of course, but it's nice to see the brands that have been around for decades coming out with new innovative ideas, because they have all this great extra stock. And a lot of times that's going to be the best value, because they're not going to charge a fortune necessarily for it.
One of the ones that's come out recently that's been fun to taste and see was the Heaven Hill grain to glass stuff, and that was cool. And when we had done our, what was it, not this past year but the one before, they had told us about it as they were talking about their New Springs distillery that's just opened and all the things. But those are locally sourced grains from around from farmers there in Kentucky, and the whole story was the batches of grains that they were getting weren't big enough to do the big runs that they do for the other brands, so they decided to do something smaller runs and singular with. They knew exactly where that grain came from, which farmer, and ran them as single batches. And
I think it's all 7 years old, because when they told us, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be in the future, and they're like, no, it's already aged.
Yeah.
And then it came out earlier this year, I think, right?
Yeah, the thought process behind those, I think they're trying to compete with these craft distilleries out there.
Yes.
And these craft distilleries are coming of age. I keep saying that over and over and over, but they are coming of age. Their whiskey's getting older. Some of the oldest whiskey in Texas is over 10 years old now. And it's able to compete and stand up with these bigger brands and stuff. But I like to see brands like Old Granddad. They came out with the Old Granddad, I think it was 16 year. I mean, come on now. Come on. Are you serious?
Yeah.
But when I talk to Heaven Hill says we're going to flood the market. And Buffalo Trace Sazerac told me the same thing. Hey, man, we are going to flood the market with Weller to where we're going to kill the secondary market.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Like it or not, the big brands have muscle, and they have stock right now. And you're going to start seeing, we've already seen Eagle Rare and like Booker's, Henry McKenna, all these bottles that for years now you couldn't get on the shelf. And they're popping up. I think Blanton's in the next year, I bet you that you can walk in at some stores and they're going to have it on the shelf.
I think you already see that on the shelf. The price hasn't come down, but I think the price is going to have to start coming down, and some of these stores are going to have to get serious with themselves and say, you're just going to have to set on product for how long are you going to set on for before you need your money back.
And I think you'll always have allocated bottles, right? Like there will always be limited release items, but if you look at the story arc of like the early days of bourbon, as people say it, right? The things that were not allocated then became allocated. I think those will again be less allocated, but there will always be limited release items that are allocated. But the ones that are, in theory, should be shelfers, I think in our minds will probably get back to being such.
This is the time to be the drinker right now. The bourbon boom, I think I could say that the bourbon boom is probably done. It's still extremely hot. American whiskey is still a huge thing. And in Texas, Louisiana, the surrounding area, it's huge. I mean, it's got to be one of the, I don't know if it's the number one spirit or not. Probably vodka, but after that.
Vodka is the king in America.
Yeah.
I think you go into any liquor store, and then I would say I don't even know what you call them, ready to drinks, like Truly, those drinks, those pre-made drinks are, that's a market.
Yep.
There's no denying that. But whiskey in Texas, Texas is coming on as the largest growing whiskey market in the world right now, besides India. Texans love to drink whiskey. Now, California still drinks more whiskey because they got more people, but Texas is coming on, and it's projected to be the number one state in whiskey consumption. They still like to drink that Crown Royal for some reason, and I'd love to see them drink something different, like drink American whiskey. But now Crown Royal has moved their operations to America, so is it American whiskey?
I don't know.
What would it be called now that they're going to make it here in
question.
America?
Ask
They're making it
Diageo what
here.
they want to
Oh,
call
okay.
it.
That's interesting.
You didn't know they were moving their operations here?
didn't.
Yeah.
And to circle back to your question of local folks and people who are doing some fun stuff, and it crosses my mind because I think we are still trying to lock them down as attending. I sent an email last night, but JT Mellick out of Louisiana is doing
that's
some fun
interesting.
stuff, and they got
That's the
that
rice
local
whiskey.
rice and some other stuff that's really cool. We would love to have y'all back, by the way.
I might have a different phone number for you.
And I think it's pretty good. I was surprised. Anytime
it's
you
awesome.
see something, you think at first, is this a gimmick? And then it's like, okay, no, they're on to something. I think it's pretty good.
And they do cool stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think I probably had the most rice whiskey on my podcast than any other show out there. I think so. I've had rice whiskey.
So what's the best one you've had then?
Ooh, now that's put me on point. I would love to say that Rocktown out of Little Rock, Arkansas, is probably right up there with Burnt Church out of South Carolina, and then JT Mellick is right there.
I didn't realize that there were that many brands using rice.
And then Golden Beaver out of Colorado but they're all using different types of rice, and that's the amazing thing. There's such a diversity in rice that you could go all different ways. And people were like, "Oh, this is new. You're making rice whiskey." Well, it's not. Rice whiskey's been around.
Sure.
That might have been one of the first whiskeys made from like India or Japan or China. Nobody really knows, but there's a lot of rice whiskey over there to drink.
Do you
It's
like
still there.
Amroot? You mentioned India.
Oh, yes.
I think they make a great single malt.
I got I have a young lady in my shop that works with me. Her name's Rachel, and she just took a trip, like a 25-day trip to India, and she came back with a bottle of whiskey for me from India.
Awesome.
And I love that. And I was like, "Can I pay you?" "No, it's a gift for you." And I love that experience that people see me as a whiskey guy.
Sure.
And whiskey, I'm a nerd when it comes to any type of whiskey.
We are too.
And it's just a
Huge
fun
rabbit
thing.
hole.
Yeah, we could talk for hours in here.
Yeah.
So we got another pour here. What's this next pour?
This is a Michter's Barrel Strength Rye from 2015, and I grabbed this one from home because that's the first year that the Whiskey Social started. So for the 10 years, I figured let's drink something from 10 years ago. So this is a Barrel Strength Rye that I've just been holding on to for a long time. Nice nose.
Nice nose. Cheers,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
cheers.
Great conversation so far. I love it.
And I honestly think I will always say that this is probably one of the best products that Michter's puts out. I love the proof level of it. It doesn't drink super hot, but it is barrel strength, and they do a great job with the rye.
Yeah, I think even their regular rye, is it 90 proof? I think it's 90.
I think people would be shocked at Michter's, and you can't compare Michter's to Elijah Craig, right? I mean, we're drinking a rye, but the way their warehouses are set up there are climate controlled in Kentucky, and then they got temperature probes and barrels, and then they. The big thing in Kentucky is, we have limestone water here. Well, Texas has limestone water too, a giant limestone shelf. especially around Austin.
Yep.
But in Michter's, their proofing tanks there, they have giant limestone slabs bolted to the sides of those. So it's a different concept of making whiskey, but I mean, god dang, is this good?
Yeah, it
and
is.
this is over 10 years old right here.
Yep.
What a beautiful whiskey. So we've talked about everything whiskey social. Where's the future of the whiskey social gonna go? Year 20. Do you make it more than one day? Do you add classes? Do you what can you do to make it just the premier whiskey event in the state of Texas?
Yeah, well, we want to hear from the guests, and we actually attend every other whiskey festival that we possibly can, and we're not ashamed to say that we're going to see what works, what we like at other places, and take the idea and see if we can do it. We've talked about expansion. I mean, certainly the Dallas market is a huge market, and we have a lot of connections there. Some of the people that come to our event are from Dallas. We've had people come on private plane from Dallas to come to our event, so we know that we have an audience out there. So I think in the next couple years that may be something that actually happens. We've talked about it for a while. As far as the event goes, for me it's a true whiskey explorers event. It's if you want to really come and have conversations and taste some interesting things, because whether our vendors bring it or not, we're bringing our own interesting stuff to the event. And like the dusties, it's funny, you appreciate it, but it's funny, I'll walk around with a bottle from the 60s and I'll ask people, hey, would you like to try this? And it's kind of funny because people who aren't as familiar are like, well, what is that? And they're like looking like skeptical. And I'm like, you want this? Trust me, you want to try it. Like, is it good? I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna like this.
Well, some people say, has it gone bad? I'm like, well, that's a different conversation. It doesn't really go bad. So, yeah, I mean, to Todd's point, I think there's a balance that we try to have of, how big is too big, and can we control the quality and the experience that we have for our guests. And I think we have talked about expansion to other cities, Dallas, Austin. We get people that come from both of those cities to our event here in Houston. So can we scale it and replicate it in a way that at least we don't lose what the vibe and what we're trying to put out is? That's always been the trick. And then I think as we've kind of seen things kind of a bit of the roller coaster of what happens in the whiskey industry, we've held off for now. I think obviously Todd and I both have day jobs, and then scheduling that becomes difficult of how do you space that between what we try to do here in Houston and then what we try to maybe do in another city. But
because we want to have a good event. Yeah. That's what it comes down to is we're going to keep our size, I think, close to what it is. And in fact, we're not going to fill the room as much as we could because we've seen what happens. It takes away from the guest experience. And again, we're just whiskey nerds. We're whiskey drinkers. We want to make sure that the guests that come have a great event. So we've just been tweaking every year. Every year, we hear the feedback from the vendors and from the guests, and we're trying to make it better. So I think, if we do another 10 years, it's just going to be a badass event. It's just going to be, people are going to come and they're going to think it's amazing. And I don't want too many people. I don't want it to grow. I think if any expansion we have is going to be doing additional events. And we also, one of the things that will happen is we're doing more during the year. Like I came across a bottle of Double Eagle Very Rare last year, and we did a really cool event downtown here in the Esperson building, which is an old historic building in Houston, and it has like those gold elevators, like Gilded Age looking, like all the detail, and you had to punch in a special code to get up to the top floor, and then you come up there and we have the Double Eagle Very Rare and some old 80s Eagle Rare, and so we're going to do cool tastings like that. And we hung out. It was 30 people, have cigars, drink good whiskey. So we're going to do more events like that, more intimate. So I think, in the end, we're more about just having a great experience than doing like a huge festival.
Hey, hats off to you on a great event. I think, you grow it how you have to grow it, and grow it for the right reasons. And you got to be careful because you could lose control of it, and then it's out of control, and you can't recapture that because people, once they get a bad taste in their mouth, they might not go back.
Yep.
And you don't want that. You want them to feel like, hey, this is a special event, and I'm getting a great experience there. There's a reason I came over here to talk to both of you. It's because I haven't had a good experience there, and I want to have another great experience there. So before we leave, we're almost finished. You got some giveaways for us. We're trying to do this giveaway thing every week, folks.
Yeah.
Todd and Don, they got some whiskey from their own private collections here. They're going to give away to. I think you have 2 bottles, so we should probably do 2 lucky winners.
Sure.
Here.
All right, well, I'll start with this one. So this is a Rittenhouse Rye single barrel. We will be also giving some of these away.
At the event.
Yeah. So I have to be careful. This is where we have to be careful that there will be surprises.
There will be
at the
surprises
event.
for ticket holders.
Yeah, no guarantee for anyone, but we do like to do nice things at the event. Hint, hint. So if you come and especially for our VIP people, people tend to walk away with gifts at the end of the night. We'll just leave it at that. So this is a private single barrel of Rittenhouse Rye, great rye. And then we also have this is from last year. So we're drinking the 10-year. This is the Elijah Craig for this year. So these will be released at the event. So anyone who purchases our Pappy level tickets, we tend to give them nicer things. And this is what we gave away last year. And so this is an 8-year-old. This is from the 9th annual Whiskey Social. So we're going to give one of those away.
So 2 giveaways on here. You guys, man, you guys rock.
But we also have 2 VIP passes to the Whiskey Social. So
No way.
Lanyards will come later, but this is the artwork.
So that'd be 3 people, I think.
Yep, sure.
And I think the way we got to do this is, so for the 2 bottles on Instagram, what you got to do is you got to follow the Whiskey Social. It's at the Whiskey Social.
It's at Houston Whiskey.
Yes,
on
Houston
Instagram.
Whiskey. I want you to follow them. You follow the Whiskey Trip. You got to tag 4 people. And then you also have to put an emoji of an astronaut on there because we're in Space City, USA here in Houston.
Let's go.
Make sure you do that. Let's flood it all week long. Let's get these guys. Let's build it up, and let's sell some tickets.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man.
Now,
Really
for
appreciate
these right here, those 2 VIP tickets, you have to live in the state of Texas or Louisiana or surrounding area. What we're going to do for these is you have to tag 8 friends because these, god dang, man, you guys are shocking me here. You're going to make me tear up is what you're going to do. But what I want you to do is tag 8 friends on there. And then I want you to put an emoji of a star because if you win these, you're going to be a rock star at the Whiskey Social.
And if you come and find
If you win it, find us and tell us you got these from Big Chief. We'll make sure you have a good time.
Yes, you're
Man,
going to drink some great stuff if you find us at the
You guys are going to make me tear up and stuff. This is probably the best giveaway so far that I've done. And if you win, if you're one of these 3 winners, you're going to be put in for my year-end a giveaway, and it's going to be one giant gift basket of whiskey and products that I've had on my show, from spices, friends like maple syrup, and my new company you just heard, my new sponsor, the Heritage Flag Company. They make American flags, state flags, out of bourbon barrels and wine barrels. You're going to get something from them as well. I'm very proud to have them as a sponsor because they're a great supporter of veterans out there. But, man, what a great giveaway. Three great giveaways. Now, Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, you know how I do. I get out there by my pool. I drink a little whiskey, have a little fun, talk a little shit, and and I give away whiskey. These are not scams. I actually got reported to TikTok this week, and somebody said I was a scam. I'm not a scam.
There's a lot of them out there.
I'm really sending whiskey, so much so my wife gets on my ass about it. But hey, she also says I have too much whiskey in my house. So
she's not alone.
We share that problem.
Yeah.
I do have whiskey, but what the deal is when you have too much whiskey is you share it with people,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Absolutely.
Whiskey's not meant to sit on a shelf and look pretty and say, look what I got, everybody. I want to take this pretty photo and show you, and haha, I bought this for how many ever dollars. It's meant to be opened and shared.
100%.
And I feel like you guys just went above and beyond with sharing that bottle of Old Granddad, the bottle of Wild Turkey, the bottle of Michter's I thought was spectacular, and then Elijah Craig. Can you ever go wrong with Elijah Craig?
Never.
No, that's just bourbon to me. That's what it's supposed to taste like, right?
Yeah. And you know what, I know the man that made that whiskey right there. I know him personally. My buddy Denny Potter. He was the master distiller there at the time, and it feels great to know the man that made that. Hey, I've met the man that made this right here.
Yep, that's right.
I met the woman and the man that make this and blend this. So do I know these guys? I do. These gals out there. We were talking about the legacy of Jimmy Russell and how many people. There's a Texas whiskey brand out there, Marlene Holmes from Mile and Green, and she used to work. Well, she worked at Jim Beam. Alex Castle up at Augusta now. She was old Dominic. She was distillery supervisor there at Jim Beam. The whiskey tree is very small, and it's a beautiful thing we get to do.
Absolutely. So, we also have a glass for you, just a branded Houston Whiskey Social glass. So all of our guests get those as well.
I mean, you guys are rocking this shit out. I tell you what. So what do you do for these giveaways right here? Tag 4 people, an emoji of a astronaut, because we're in Space City, USA. If you haven't been to Houston, you got to go to NASA and check it out. Support the local community here. Come to the Houston Whiskey Social. Come hang out with old Big Chief. I'm not going to be hard to miss. I'll be in my cowboy hat, my boots, a dress jacket, a button-down shirt, and some blue jeans on. Come up to me. Don't touch my cowboy hat. But have a pour of whiskey with me. Have a pour of whiskey with my friends here. And if you really want to be a rock star, you got to put in for these right here. These are 2 different giveaways right here. And I'll tell you what, I'll throw in a whiskey trip glass to put with these right here, just so you can have that, so everybody can see. And I think they'll let you in the door with that whiskey glass.
Absolutely.
Come on.
I want you to be a rock star. Tag 8 people. Put a star by that, a star emoji. That's pretty easy because, hey, this place right here, they take you to the stars. The home of astronauts. I love it. Any last words, Todd?
Just if you're looking to come to the event, it's HoustonWhiskeySocial.com. And as we mentioned on Instagram, it's at Houston Whiskey. Look for Dom and I at the event. And if you can find us, which we won't be that hard to find, we'll be happy to make sure that you are very happy and taste something interesting. Whether it's a dusty or if you catch us when we have the pappy and you get lucky with that, it's going to be a great time.
Yep,
and more surprises to come. Yep, November 15th.
Is it a Saturday night or a Friday night?
Saturday night.
Weather should be nice.
Weather should be great at that point. We try to make it late enough to where you're not sweating in full Texas heat if you got your cowboy hat on like Big Chief. But indoor, outdoor, we got the whole thing going on. Come out, have a great time, and
Cigars.
Have a pour with us.
Yep.
I love it, gentlemen. Thank you once again for coming on the whiskey trip. Now your family. I'm sure we're going to share many a pour of whiskey together. Todd and I were talking on the phone, and I feel the love from the city of Houston now, because I've met Todd, I've met Dom, and then I met Sean here at Reserve 101. You'll see a future episode there. Make sure you support great events like the Houston Whiskey Social, listeners. I really love it. Don't forget about these 3 giveaways this week. The largest giveaway I think I've had right here. 2 barrel picks and VIP tickets. I mean, how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong with this? And you get a whiskey glass for myself if you get these VIP tickets. So make sure you check us out. Once again, where's the website?
www.HoustonWhiskeySocial.com and on Instagram at Houston Whiskey.
Awesome, gentlemen. Awesome. Well, you know where you can find old Big Chief. You can find me at The Whiskey Trip on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and now YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Give me a follow. Give me a listen. If you're listening to me, make sure you listen to Matt and Mark of The Bourbon Life on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Leave us that 5-star review and some comments if you love what you're listening to. I need those reviews. I'm trying to get to 100 before the end of the year, but I want you to take those comments and post them over on my Facebook page at The Whiskey Trip. That's where I'm trying to get to 100. I think I'm at 73. I need your help, listeners. I need your support.
Y'all
Keep
make it
pumping
happen.
me up. I'll keep doing these giveaways all year long. So listen to me there. I really appreciate it. Support my sponsors, Leapers Fort Distillery and the Heritage Flag Company. Make sure you check out my event on November 8th at the Colony at the Rack House there. Information on that's coming. It supports the Staves of Honor. I'm really excited about this pick. I'm going to have 4 different distillers. I'm going to have 1845. They've been on my show. I'm going to have Iron Root there. I'm going to have, I'm getting tongue twisted here is what I'm getting. But I'm going to have Bent also at that event. And then Emiliano from Steel Austin, everybody knows him. He's going to be there doing that barrel pick with us. So you're going to get 4 distillers in the house that night to talk with them, and you'll get to talk to myself as well. So stick with me. Keep taking this ride. This is old Big Chief, and thanks for taking this ride with me, baby.